Zoom. Classes consist of manifestation, learning psychic abilities, shadow work, and healing trauma. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
This is Psychic Medium Deb. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Cloudy tonight with a low of 7, then clearing skies on Tuesday with a high of 18. 2025 is here, and so are the AM 950 calendars as a thank you to those who have become members of AM 950. The calendars feature the photography of Matt McNeil and important progressive dates. Head over to am950radio.com to see how you can get yours.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story. This is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. Happy 2025. Happy New Year to everybody. This is my first show in 2 weeks. The last time we did one of these live was December 20th. And boy, that seemed like forever ago. And as usual, when I haven't done this in a while, I'm sitting here as the show's about to start, and I'm literally like, so how do I do this again? I really don't remember any of this. I use StreamYard as the interface between home and the station, and I'm looking at it, and the side of StreamYard has changed since I last used it. Like, okay, I don't know what that means. And then, I just like, do I hit this button first, or is it this button? So if you hear a small explosion, it's very possible I hit the wrong button. So I just want to let you all know where we're at. And I think if we all know where we're at, then it's going to be less of a surprise when it happens. I also, being a professional, as I am, and you just heard that, I have a horrendous cough this evening. It started yesterday, and I am going to try to be a professional and mute myself the best I can during it. And I'll do my best for you. I promise you I will do my best, but it's, you never know if we're going to get an unsightly or unsavory sounding cough out of it. And some people might, I don't know where I got this from. Some people might be like, well, hold on a second. You don't wear pants in the winter, and it's not as salacious as it sounds. I literally just wear shorts all year round. But like when it's time to go outside, I have a parka, and you don't get a chest cold from your legs. So it is something that it's just what it is. And so you're gonna hear perhaps a cough or two tonight. It's very annoying, quite frankly. And so just we'll see how it goes. Before we get too far down the road here, a couple things I want to do here. if I can find it, is because, being organized as I am, I literally have 15 Word documents open, and one of them is my outline for tonight. So, we're really getting off to a good start here. But, I know you all so well, it's okay to be transparent about it, because I know you all appreciate me for who I am. So I don't feel too bad about that. A couple things. First of all, I wanted to say thank you to Rob and Sarah from Paranormally Blonde, which is a program on the Get Haunted Network. I was on there tonight. Man, we had a great conversation. We really did. It was it was really just a good conversation about the paranormal, talking about obviously spirit box stuff. And one thing I wanted to kind of talk to people about a little bit is because I throw this around quite a bit, especially for our listeners on the radio. I mentioned a lot about Facebook networks. We're on a Facebook network, and one of them, of course, is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun on Facebook page. And for those of you who maybe don't know what that is, and I want to give you some explanation, because I think if you are into the paranormal, this is a great resource to get more great content. So one of these Facebook networks is really just a page, and a bunch of different people like-minded to myself will go on and do their own shows. So we have a lot of different shows, and I am one of them. And mine is the last one of the night. Mine's the only one that's 5 nights a week. But I got other great shows that have, paranormal topics, but don't be fooled by the fact that it's, all paranormal topics are the same. You got people really delving into a lot of different things. And I would really suggest you go and check it out. And the one that I'm on a number of them, but the one I was on, that I broadcast to every night, and that I was on with Paranormally Blonde, is called Get Haunted. So it's you want to check that out. Go to Facebook, type in Get Haunted, and you're gonna probably see my show, but you're gonna see a lot of other great shows, and there are a lot of great topics, and I think you should go check it out. There's a lot of places that aren't, TV networks aren't doing paranormal anymore. So this is a great way to listen to people who are out in the field. They may give, like we do on GhostBox, they give our sort of information about what we've experienced, what we've done. Sometimes there are live paranormal investigations. I've done that on my network as well. It's always worth a look, okay? So please, and I really want to do a shout out to Get Haunted. They really gave me a great show tonight. They've been very supportive the entire time I've been a part of this, and I just really want to thank them for everything. It's been fantastic. It's been a lot of fun. And I'm working with them on the Rock Island Paracon. That's going to be October 4th. And it's going to be, we're going to have more information soon. I mean, when I say we're going to have more information soon, it's going to blow your socks off. And I'm not one for hyperbole, but I really think that this is going to be a great event. And I really think that once we start talking about it, you may want to consider changing your plans, if you have any, for October 4th to come on out and see us. I will be speaking out there. Not that that's the only reason to go, but it is a reason, and a mighty fine one too. Also, I am speaking this weekend in Wabasha, Minnesota, at the Parafair that is put on by Northern Shadows Paranormal Research Team over at the Anderson House. You may remember we have done events at the Anderson House. Anderson House is managed by a woman named Becky, who and her partner Pays. They have a paranormal team that's based out of Duluth, and they're putting together this fantastic event on Saturday in Wabasha, Minnesota, at the Anderson House. It gives you this opportunity to meet all of these paranormal teams, because there is a number of them. I can't even count that high. That's how many numbers are going to be there. And the thing about paranormal teams, just like we talked about with Get Haunted, they're not all the same. Everyone does something different. The approach is different. How they do it is different. How they capture evidence is different. So even just to go out there and just have a conversation with them about how they do stuff is pretty cool, and it's worth the time to do so. And you're going to find a lot of great gifted people out there, and you can talk to them. There's going to be speakers. I'm speaking on Saturday. Normally I'm talking when I do paranormal events, I'm doing spirit box stuff, but this time I'm talking aliens. And then we're probably going to abduct a few people from the event with my alien friends. I'm just kidding, or am I? But so come on out. That's this Saturday at Wabasha. The weather's going to be great. It's going to be in the 30s, and it's a beautiful drive if you're in the area. Also, something that you need to know too about all that too is that it's you're going to run into a lot of teams in different areas of Minnesota. So if you're like in need of help, like paranormal help, and you didn't really know who to talk to or who to see, you can go out there, and there's going to be teams from Rochester, the Twin Cities, I think Duluth, right around Wabasha. There's a lot of great places, great people that are going to be able to help. And so once again, I would say that just folks, give it a shot. Come on out, and it's really good. A couple comments here, and I'm going to ask you all also, because tonight we're doing Pet Symmetry, not Pet Cemetery, Symmetry. And I might have mentioned that my cat Line has passed away, and I say that with kind of tongue in cheek because you've heard me talk about it. It's a very big deal for me. It's a very it was a very difficult time. But one of the things that I thought about a lot was how there are points in your life where a pet intercedes, and not even a pet, an animal intercedes. And you kind of wonder a little bit, what is that? And I want to talk about some with Linus. Philip Anthony, who hosts the show Downright Upright with Philip Anthony, airs Saturdays at 5 p.m. here in AM 950. We were talking about that today, and he gave me a really interesting story that I'm going to share as well. So these are, and that's the thing about this. We don't always realize that it's happening, but I think it's worth it. And I want to take forth the idea that when it comes to animals and pets, that it's not only the pets who are with us living, but what is the participation from animals, pets, or whatever, your afterlife, that have passed, that are still looking out for you. They're still with you. We just did an investigation on Saturday, Shar and I. And only thing I'm going to say about it, because, obviously we keep investigation information, to itself, but I think I can share this. There was a dog there. And and you're like, ooh, what a great story, Greg. Tell us more about the dog. The dog is the size of a pig. It is, and I don't mean like, just the height or whatever. The rotundness, everything about it. It was just this incredibly huge, incredibly large dog that I just looked at, and I'm like, I love you. I'm just like, that's all I was is, I haven't had, a pet here for a little while, a couple of weeks, and it seems like years. And I just see them now, and I just see pets, and all I want to be is like I see every one of them. I'm like, I love you. I just wanted you to know that you are just so perfect. And this big dog was so friendly, so beautiful, so big. And I'm not trying to body shame a dog. Don't get at me about that. But he was big, and he just, if love could be encapsulated in a massive furry outfit, that's what that is. So I want to definitely get to that. One other thing I want to ask you all too is I want to see, put in the comments if you want, if you think you have pet synchronicities, if you think that you have pets that that you're kind of in kind of the same vein of what I'm talking about tonight. I don't have the ability to have you all call in because Adam isn't here, but we can certainly, if you want to type something out in the comments, we can read that. I'm also curious as we go through the night, do you have a resolution that you want to share that you're doing? Do you have, or is there a holiday gift that meant a lot to you that you wanted to share and put in there? Because those are things that I would love to share with people. I mean, it's such a wonderful time, and now we're back, and I'm having a little bit of problems, to be perfectly honest, because I really want to it for some reason coming back into January, and January is my birthday month, so I shouldn't be saying this. Feels very bleak at the moment, and I don't mean bleak as in it's so sad or anything. It just feels like winter bleakness to me, and I'm hoping to get out of that and get back to something a little bit more normal, perhaps. I don't know, but it's a lot, and wondering if anyone else has. It also probably doesn't help that I'm feeling very coughy. I'm surprised I haven't broken down in a coughing fit. That's because you all are here, and I'm so excited. I truly am excited to be able to talk to you all again. There's something else I want to do at the end of the program as well. I do want to pay tribute to a friend who had passed away this weekend. Someone that it's a shock, and there's many people in this paranormal community that know him, and that they are in shock, and they know him better than I do. But I knew him fairly well, and I want to definitely talk about him, talk about what he had done. I'm going to save that for the third segment. When we get back, though, we're going to be talking about the pet stuff. I have a number of stories. Whatever you have, put it in the comments. There's people that put stuff in the comments I haven't read yet, so I do apologize. We'll get to that. There's just a lot of stuff, and you know what? Let's break into 2025. This is awesome. I am so excited to be back. I missed you all. I hope that you all missed the show. We have a great year coming up for GhostBox, and we want you with us. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
Reach your highest level of consciousness and well-being with metamorphosisconnections.com. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory of the best holistic and metaphysical practitioners to help you make your most informed choices. You can search metamorphosisconnections.com for classes, events, wellness and life coaches, plus metaphysical products and shops. You can also search for a wide array of healers from all modalities, including EFT, sound healing, energy healing, light therapy, ancestral healing, shamanic healing, reflexology, past life regressions, hypnotherapy, yoga, and more. And if you're not sure where to start, the search feature on metamorphosisconnections.com is tailored to help both those who know what they are looking for and those who are just starting. Come explore the possibilities for your higher self by visiting metamorphosisconnections.com. Their experienced practitioners can guide both beginners and those that are already on their spiritual journey. That's metamorphosisconnection.com, your link to direct you on your spiritual transformation.
Lilliput in Coon Rapids dares you to take part in their Haunted Mansion escape room. 100 years ago, a family suffered a tragic incident. Your team is brought in to find out what happened that night, find proof of the supernatural, and help the spirits find peace. Are you up for the task? This incredible escape room is filling up fast, so book now. Also, a perfect outing for work team building. Go to lilliput.net now to book your experience today. Greg Bakun here. Like many of you, I still collect physical books, and not just any books, but books about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. I go to Megas Books and Herbs, located in the Arts District of Minneapolis, but books are only part of it. Megas Books and Herbs offers crystals, jewelry, herbs, oils, and consultations on how to use this stuff. Check out their in-store classes and events too. This place has everything to expand your horizons. Located at 1848 Central Avenue, Minneapolis, or visit megasbooks.com.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. Recently, I had a large order of custom designed t-shirts that needed to be turned around in a hurry. I knew exactly who to call. Grady Gear Company. Grady Gear Company is a local company that handles large and small custom clothing and apparel orders. I had a lot of questions from color, shirt quality, and what sizes we needed. Gritty Gear Company was great to work with. They got us what we needed on time, and now everybody's looking great around the station in their new gear. Start your order at grittygearco.com.
Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville. Over the break, I made my own Maverick's roast beef sandwich. I actually made my own prime rib, and then I took them and made sandwiches out of them in the style of Maverick's. And although never as good as Maverick's, it wasn't too shabby. I actually made my own cheese sauce because I always put a cheese sauce when I go to Maverick's. I put a cheese sauce over the sandwich, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. To the sauce, I've never made one. It was maybe a little floury. It could have been a little bit less, but for a first time, not too shabby. But you want the real deal, go to Roseville, go to Maverick's. I always have the best stuff to say about them because it just makes my mouth water even just thinking about it. These sandwiches are amazing. So go there, check it out. I'd love to get a bunch of you together. Let's all go. Let's go. I'm not going to pay for you. I mean, let's get serious. But I mean, let's all get to Mavericks and experience. And you could taste it for yourself. Okay, that's where I'm getting at here. You're listening to GhostBox Radio, and it's the first episode of 2025. I always try to make these episodes a little bit lighter, a little bit guest free, so that when I start messing up, that I don't have a guest kind of being like, "What on earth are you doing?" So the usual, right? We're talking about pet symmetry today, not to be confused with pet cemetery, pet symmetry. And I want to give you an example of what I'm talking about here. And I hope that this plays. And I want to read some of the comments as well. So here we are. Let's go back to 2017. And prior to my cat Linus, which is a ragdoll, for the longest time, I thought that I had two cats, Dave and Linus. They didn't exist together. I got Linus years after Dave had passed. They're the same looking cat. Linus is gray and white. Dave is black and white. And Dave is very much one of those animals that was very obedient, very, it's weird to say it out loud because you never know what people are going to say. These animals were my best friends, right? These are not just like you're a cat and I'm not. These are like, I would do anything for you all. I would do anything possible. I know a lot of you listening do feel the same way. And Dave had passed away. I had to put him down in 2012, and it was really so surreal, as it always is. You all know what it's like. And take him to the vet and put him down. And when I take them to the vet to put them down, I am going to be that person in the room holding on to them, making sure that I am the last thing that they see, because that is just, I guess I'm a person. I'm not a thing, am I? The last person that they see, but get the drift. And it's very important to me to make sure that they are not alone. And so we did that with Dave. I did that with AJ. And but AJ passed in 2019, but let's go to 2017. And I met somebody named Amy, and she actually, her husband's been on the show a number of times, Justin Wenzel. He is a storm chaser, very, they're both great. They're both great people. And long story short, Amy wanted me to take Linus because they were going to get a dog, and they just feel like, and Amy said, if you don't take Linus, we're not going to get rid of him, but you two seem to have some kind of thing, like we really got along. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to take Linus because I want AJ to, she's getting older. I don't want to, put that burden on her, but I couldn't get Linus out of my mind. And so finally, I would say about 6 months later, I made the decision that I am going to, in fact, get Linus. And I called up Amy, and I'm like, I would like him if he's still available. And she's like, absolutely. And so as soon as I made that call, I was going upstairs in my house, and something tugged at my sock. And I've worn the same type of clothing for like 30 years. It's an ankle sock. And I feel the tug, and I'm just like, and I knew right away, it's Dave. And Dave had been gone for 5 years at that point. And I think I misunderstood him, though. And I said, don't worry, Dave, I'm never going to forget you. And so when the day came for me to pick up Linus, and they live out not too far from me, and I get in the car, and I drive off, and I make sure that AJ is high as a kite on catnip, because I just know that that's just not going to go well eventually. When she's sober to see Linus. And I go and I drive to where Amy lives, and there's this truck, and it's not front to back in front of me as you expect. It's off the side of the road, and it's actually it's actually to the side, so I could see the side of it very clearly. And I'm driving towards it. What does it say on it? It says Davey on it. The truck, as I am going to pick up Linus, who looks like Dave, the truck that I already feel like I could feel Dave's presence. There's this big old truck, and it says Davey on it in huge letters. Like, okay, Dave, I got the message. Maybe next time get a billboard. I don't know. What on earth? I mean, you all might be like, well, there's a company named Davey, and there is. What's the coincidence, though? And to me, that's the synchronicity. That's the bit where it's like, okay, this is for me. It wasn't until Linus passed that I want to revise that, though. I mean, all that still happened, but all these years I thought Dave doesn't want me to forget him, and that might be part of it. I think now Dave wanted me to know that it was him that brought me Linus. That's what I think it is. And it's because you listen to people all the time, especially our psychic medium friends, and they will tell us that your last pet is going to pick your next pet. Now, AJ came to us because my ex-wife's mother was moving to Florida, and we needed to take her, and that's totally fine. Linus, I mean, as soon as Dave passed, what did I want? I wanted another Dave. And I get this beautiful, not exactly like Dave, nor should he be, but I get this beautiful animal. One of my favorite things about the story, and I still laugh about, is Amy was like, come on over and pick up Linus. Okay, sounds good. And then she has kids. I'm like, are the kids going to be there? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm worried about that because they're going to be upset that I'm taking Linus. And she's like, don't worry about it. They don't really play with him. They're going to be fine. If it was a TV show, she'd be like, it's going to be fine. And cut to the next scene where there are kids screaming at me and sad and thinking I'm a monster for taking their cat. It's like, you'll be fine. They don't even know he's around. This little girl is screaming when I'm trying to gracefully put Linus into my cat carrier, and he doesn't want to go in. They're screaming at me. There's a kid, like an 8-year-old kid, stomping around me, pouting. I'm like, oh my God, what on earth? It was like, man, all right, this is tough. And then bringing him home, that was tough. And I'll explain about that in a second. But that whole thing with Dave, I think is important, and I think it's necessary. And it's there's a lot to it. And it's a fantastic remembrance. Got some more here, but why don't we go to the comments here real fast. And Greg, I appreciate you saying sorry about Linus. Sarah's on here. She's saying some very nice things about me, so obviously we got to put those up. And we just taking a look here to see. Oh, thank you, Carol. Carol said she saw this tonight as it already started. It was a great show. She's talking about being on Paranormally Blonde. Thank you for sharing the name of their show. I'll definitely checking it out. You were a great guest. Of course, I'm going to put that up. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. It was good to see you stop on there. Let's see if we get some stuff about cats here. Leanne says, I have a cat I had for 13 years that still checks in to this day. Let's see here. Barb says, I have a cat that died when she was 13, and her brother who died at 18. They both still come around to check up on me. That's so nice. Damien says, I cried more for my dog Westy passing more than a person. Couldn't do that again, so I now have a pet tarantula called Sapphire. For a few weeks after Rufus passed away, he visited and felt him jumping on bed at night. I've been asking Linus to come join me in dreams and stuff, and he showed up one night. It had been my own dream, actually. I refuse to believe that he would appear the way he did in this dream. It was actually frightening. He was I'm not even going to get into it, but he was in a very horrible state, and that's very clearly my mind projecting on that situation. Kimberly, who I haven't talked to in a long time, says, my cat Leo is my cat Sammy reincarnated. I knew it from the moment I saw him and our eyes met. He had found me again. I had Sammy from the age of 4 to 21. He found me again when I was 38. I totally believe that. I totally believe that. Anne says, had a cat for 18 years. She visited us. My dog of 16 years just passed 4 days ago, and hope she will visit us as well. And I remember seeing that, you posting that. I am so sorry for your loss. Let's see here. And Anthony says, well, some say that if we remember someone, they never gone. Yes, animals come when we lose one. That happened to me many times. Absolutely. There, Sartre wrote as existentialism, a story where there's two people in the room, and that they are only able to get out of the room when someone thinks about them. It's a very interesting book. I don't believe for a second that that's how it really works, but very interesting. And I do think that when you remember them, and that's, one of the reasons why I'm into the paranormal, is to help to remember those who have passed, that people should never be forgotten, and pets, right? And animals and all that good stuff. Let's see here. 2:37 here. Okay. I'm just looking at the timing here. I'm going to try to get this story right. This isn't my story. Talking with Philip Anthony from the Downright Upright show with Philip Anthony that airs 5 p.m. every Saturday on AM 950. I was mentioning to him what I was going to do tonight for the show, and he brought up a story, and he gave me permission to use this, and I hope I'm getting it right. When his mom was still alive, and I think they were back in New York, right? He had a dog. It was a very, like, a big dog. It was a big, one of those angry dogs that could really do damage. I'm sorry, Philip, I forget what kind of dog it is, but I don't know if it was a Doberman or something. It might have been a Doberman, something like that. And it was actually one that he got from the Humane Society or whatever, and they're basically saying he is unadoptable because he's such an angry animal. He's so difficult. And Philip is like someone like many of us who would be like, well, that means that they need the most love. And so he adopts this. He's living with his mom. And one day when he wasn't there, Philip wasn't there, but he lived in the basement. The dog was downstairs, and his mom was upstairs, and a guy came up to the window of their house, and he's like, "Ma'am, do you have any money?" And she's like, "No." And he proceeded to break into the house right then and there at the window, and she starts screaming, and the dog runs up and starts going after the guy, I think biting his leg and holding, and the guy, he gets out of it or whatever, but Philip, but it scares, it gets this guy to get away. And then what was interesting is that Philip said that the dog passed away a year to the day after his mom passed. And I conjectured to him, do you think that the sole reason why that dog was put into your path was to save your mom that day? Now, there isn't anything on earth that can prove that one way or the other, but it is a thought. And to take it a step further, is it possible that we were meant to talk about it today so that we could pay respect to that as well? And that's what I mean by that synchronicity of, is there something that happened that we don't really think about, but actually was there because we needed it. We needed it at the time, and we don't know about it. We didn't know what there was maybe a greater reason, apart from the obvious that, for example, Philip loved animals. He wanted to give this dog a home, even though the dog was a problem for him because of its attitude and, whatever background is, that there's more to it than that. And I don't see why not. And I am one who firmly believes in that sort of thing. And I can understand that other people might be like, oh, come on, really? Why not? His mom was saved. And I don't want to speak for Philip, but I do wonder if Philip would have normally gotten a dog like that, but this time got it. And this time it was put into his mom's path to save her and give her another year of living, because she was already ill. There wasn't, when the guy was trying to break in, she was already ill, from what, eventually took her to pass away. So I find it very interesting. And that is certainly what I mean by synchronicity. So a lot to unpack there. I have some more I want to talk about. And if you have anything, put it in as well. So let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to do more. I want to talk about my friend David and just kind of wrap up the first show of 2025. You are listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information. Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com. What you wear is important. It should be fun, creative, and expressive of your own personality. At Grady Gear Company, we believe that clothing is more than just fabric and threads. It's a form of self-expression and a way to stand out with the crowd. Grady Gear is more than just a clothing brand. We're a community. We're here to inspire and motivate you to embrace your true self. We are a locally owned small business who do custom clothing orders too. Find us at GradyGearCompany.com. Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
And join me tomorrow on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. We are going to have on psychic medium Miriam Faresh. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about cold cases and how psychic medium reads them. And also kind of talking about perhaps the sensitivity around going and reading a cold case and the effect that it might have on family. I mean, I haven't talked to Miriam about it, but I also feel like that there is a situation here where maybe not everybody is open to maybe a cold case, if you will, be open in that manner. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking a little bit also about how the right and wrongs of doing something like that. And I don't even mean morally, but just making sure that you're being respectful of the situation. So we're going to do that. Wednesday, we're going to have, you just listened to her spot, Psychic Medium, Refined Divine is going to be back doing one question readings with us. Very excited. Haven't talked to them in a little while, not since one of our last shows on December 18th. So it's always fun, and she is so good. That's Wednesday. Thursday, we are rerunning an episode of the JFK assassination from November with author Paul Blake Smith. And then, of course, Casual Friday, it's going to be live from the Anderson House in Wabasha, Minnesota. And we're really excited for that. And once again, the Para Fair is going to be the 11th of January, this coming Saturday in Wabasha at the Anderson House. Please come on out, say hi, and say hi to all the other paranormal investigators there. So there's a lot of fun going on there. Now, I want to talk a little bit more. I think one of the things, and I'm curious if any of you have run into this with your animals passing. When it came to Linus, I really think that he did everything possible to make it easy on me. I really, really do. And this comes from, I mentioned earlier that I had to put down Dave. I had to put down AJ. And that was very hard. Anyone who's been in those situations, and I know there's been many who's been in many more of them than I have, it's really hard when you're saying it's that surreal moment of that furry face that's been with you for so many years that you know that this is the end of that part of it. And, I just... many times over the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months, Linus and I would be hanging out, and I'd be like looking at his little furry face, and I'd be like, please die peacefully. I'd literally, and I think that there is something that people may not realize. I think you could tell your pets what to do. I know that, when they're trying to grab some ham or something like that from your table, that's different. But I do think that you can communicate with them on a deeper level than you might give them credit for. And I had, energetically looked at him. I looked at him and I just like, Linus, please don't put me through this again. I cannot, not with you, not with, of all of them, not you. And, he started, I remember the final week that he was living, And he, the week was he was very energetic that week, much more so than he had been. And he had jumped up on the little box they had by the bed because he couldn't jump up on the bed all that much anymore. Well, he was bypassing the box a lot. And he was jumping up in the bed again. I was like, oh my goodness, Liney. My goodness. I call him Liney Doodle Dandy. That's what his name was. And that morning, Thursday morning, he jumps up on the box and he just has this little alert furry face, and he comes up on the bed and we hang out. And that's why I was always so late to coming to work at AM 950, because if he'd jump up, the world would stop. I mean, for years it was my belief that I'm going to spend time with this animal whenever he jumps up on a bed or something like that. I am going to be there, because you never know when it changes. And so Thursday night when I get home from the station, immediately it's like, this is not Linus. This is different. He's just, he's just laying on his stomach, on his paws as fours, and it's just his demeanor is different. He's not eating. And right away, my question is like, I mean, I know where he's going. There is no doubt in my mind. And the question is, am I supposed to take him to the vet, or do I just wait to see what happens? And the reason why I don't want to take him to the vet is I want him to die in the house. I want him not to have extra fear of leaving the house. He hasn't left the house in 7 years. I don't want this to be how it ends. And where it came from to the point of what my threshold was if I see him start convulsing, have in pain, obviously I will take him in. But because he's just he's dying, but he's doing it naturally. And there might be people listening that might be like, I wouldn't do it that way. I appreciate that. But it was a decision that I made, and I stand by, because it was over a course of a few days that he would go somewhere and sleep. He would go to places that he hadn't gone, and he would just like hang out there. And it would be odd because obviously I would go and lay next to him just about anywhere. And so I'd lay next to him, fall asleep, wake up, and he's nowhere to be seen. And like I'm searching on the main floor for him, because that's where we are. Couldn't find him anywhere. Like, what happened? Did they just take him? And I was like, well, I mean, I could go check upstairs, but he didn't go upstairs. I go upstairs, there he is. Just in a ball somewhere else. When I brought him home in 2017, I opened up the pet carrier, and I just kept him in my bedroom because it's a master bedroom with a bathroom. So I'm thinking I could just have a water bottle, food, keep him separate from AJ for a little bit, kind of get things moving. Little monster, he gets out of the pet carrier and immediately is able to go behind the bed and underneath it. And this bed looks like some kind of medieval, 14th century sort of wooden monstrosity that I have never replaced, that was actually my ex-wife's. So to get back there literally was to unscrew and take apart this production number. And when he first came and he hid under there, it's like, that's fine, whatever. He never went under there again until he was dying. And when I said he went upstairs, he went back underneath the bed. And my thought was, my God, he's going to die underneath this bed. I'm going to have to pull it apart. And this is not going to be good. Eventually he came out. Eventually the last day he ended up being behind the couch, which everything I own is difficult to move for some reason. I had to pull the couch out to get him, put him actually on one of my hoodies. And he just looked at me. He gave me a big long meow. And about an hour later, he died. And I think that I really think that meow was, I don't want you to see me like this. But he gave me what I wanted. He gave me a peaceful passing. He passed to the point I was holding him and I didn't realize he passed. So you have that. And the thing about that too is like, I think that they can really be there for you. At one point, I'm sitting next to him and I have my hand next to him. He picks up his paw, he moves it over and he puts it on my hand. I mean, how do you recover from that? You know, that's incredible. And then he lifts his paw and puts it back down on top of my hand. And just like, it's like at that point, it was like, yeah, this is really happening. And he's saying goodbye. And it was truly incredible. And the thing was, so I took him in to get cremated. And I think I mentioned this before, and I bring it into the cremation place in Edina, which I've had the other two cremated. And the guy behind the counter is just, he's saying, they're so good over there. They're so good over there. And he's just like, I'm so sorry about Linus. And I'm like, thank you. And he looks at me, he goes, my cat just passed away a few days ago. And I'm just like, I'm so sorry. And he's just like, we had him for 9 years. We were supposed to have him for so much longer, and he had a problem, and he passed, and he just died. And then he broke down. And at that moment, I was actually very thankful that I was able to move from grieving to helping somebody. And we both cried together actually at the crematorium. And he's like, okay. And I said, you know what? This is for Lou and Linus, because Lou is the other cat's name, and let's in their memory. And that was beautiful. When I got back, there was there's a light where, you know, on the stairwell and one of the landings that never turned on. And when I got back, it's on a landing that Linus and I would always hang out, and I would, you know, rub his tummy and stuff, and got back and it was on. We've never turned that light on in literally decades. And it was on, and it really illuminated that area, and that was beautiful to me. So it's truly wonderful, and I appreciate that you all took the time to listen to me go on, and I hope that it helped you all with your moments of beauty and synchronicity with your pet, and I hope that you were able to see something there as well. Before we head off, I'm shocked, literally shocked. That Saturday, a very good friend of mine, David Taylor, had passed away. For those who never heard of the name, he did his own radio show for Paraflix, Our Haunted Lives. I met David back in 2021 at the Warrens convention, and it was amazing actually, because my good friend Bobby J. Gallo, he was there, and he had a table next to David and Christy for their show, and we were there, and didn't know David from anything, and he didn't know me from anything, and we just clicked. We went out all of us went out for dinner that night. All of us went out for dinner the next night, and just like, it was so effortlessly fun. It was so much fun. It was so great. That saw him again in Vegas for a paranormal convention, and Our Haunted Lives is on Paraflix, and then he started doing others out like Facebook Lives and stuff. Him and I stayed in contact all the time. We did spirit box sessions together for one of the GhostBox Lives. He was a keen lover of radio, because that's basically what Our Haunted Lives was a good radio show that was on video as well. David was an excellent interviewer. David also was a keen photographer. He was a hockey ref He played hockey. He was also an excellent chef, and he was just a good person. One of the things I loved when we would go out to eat is his enjoyment of food, that we would talk about how it was made. As you all know, I'm very much into food as well, and the idea of the two of us, and we went out one night, and we were in Connecticut, and we had clam strips at this bar one night. It was some of the best food I ever had, this clam strip. And him and I, and I was with Anne, and I was with we were with Bobby and other people, and it was truly amazing. And we just talked the whole night about it, had drinks, laughed. I hadn't laughed that much ever. And we, talked about doing events together. He had friends up in Twin Cities. He wanted to come up and visit, and we could have hung out. Everyone that he talked to, and I really don't want to get into hyperbole, because everyone says it's about everyone else. Truly, whoever has had whoever ran into him, they were going to have a very personalized experience, and someone who cared quite a bit. He was very good at everything. He is going to be so missed. He passed away Saturday morning of a massive heart attack. Saw him Friday night doing a Facebook Live. Would never have guessed that this was going to happen. Absolutely shocking. Him and I both love Spirit Box, and I do not doubt one bit that him and I will be talking again. Everyone, I am back tomorrow with Miriam Fresh. Thank you very much. Everyone, have a good night. See you tomorrow.